What's up, everybody? This is Marshall Lee of DonkeyJawProjects.com, and today I wanted to share with you the number one way to level up. It's like the biggest art hack ever, in my opinion. Number one way to level up with your art, if you want to get better, improve your art skills, there's nothing better than this, in my opinion. So let's see what I'm talking about. So this is my comic book Corncob Rob that I'm working on currently, trying to get done. And if you were to look online on YouTube or Google for art tutorials, you'd come up with all kinds of things like how to draw eyes, how to draw heads, how to draw buildings, things in perspective, how to draw figure drawings, hands. Backgrounds, environments. You'd learn, you'd come across a lot of different tutorials on how to level up on different things, but there's one way to level up on everything that can be really super helpful, and it's a challenge, but that's another thing you'll find. There's a lot of challenges in when you Google stuff online. And so, anyways, the number one thing, and maybe it's no surprise, but for me, on how to level up is making comics. I once had a conversation with a friend, and I was saying, you know what? One way to really get good at making all kinds of different things is comics, because you have to draw so many different things that you wouldn't normally draw. You have to draw backgrounds with objects in it, and you have to draw characters with emotion, and you have to draw like figures. And maybe this isn't the best example because all the characters are vegetables, but it's there. There's gesture in here. There's emotion. There's figure drawing and perspective figure drawing, proportionately right. Also trying to keep a consistent design across a bunch of pages, with characters. And there's all kinds of different things that you learn as, you're trying to create stuff. You can, characters in action, things like that. So it's just limitless to all the things that you'll kind of figure out how to draw, and it takes a lot of work, and making comics can be super daunting, but really anybody can do it. There's people who have made comics with stick figures, and they've gone to great success, and you can draw, like, here's a crude version of what I was possibly thinking about going with for Corncob Rob. And I ended up going with still kind of a crude version. Like, this is kind of crude, some of it, but a little bit more, because I wanted to have like this punk rock vibe or whatever. So it's like almost like it's thrown together. But I went with a little bit less crude, but just basically my typical style. That's another thing, you can get to places like what is your style a lot quicker when you're doing so many drawings. I mean, you're doing, per comic, you could do anywhere from, like, comic page, you could do anywhere from like 3 panels like this or this to more panels. Like this one's got 6 panels, and I've seen people go up to like 9, 10, 11, 12 even. So each panel is almost like its own illustration, and you're learning storytelling in each panel. You're learning design principles like contrast, framing, scale, golden ratio, repetition, things like that. You're learning visual communication, like how to communicate an idea clearly, with emotion and form, and all kinds of things. Like it's really endless. Like you literally learn every skill, and you have to do it to complete a project. And you're learning how to start something that, even if you do a little mini comic, it's a lot of work to create a comic, even if it's like a 5-page little thing or something. So you learn how to start a project and finish a project. If you're able to finish a comic book, no matter how crude it is, if it's good or if it's not so great, um, you've learned a lot just by doing one comic, and you'll come away finding out that you need to learn how to draw better. Every time I finish a comic, I feel like, you know what? I really would like to learn how to draw better so I can make these comics look better. But you know, what I found out is, I'll spend some time in my sketchbook, but I'll tend to draw a lot of the same things that I would normally draw, and I'll draw a lot of figures and stuff, but I'm not learning how to draw like environments and backgrounds and just like things in perspective as much. I'm not forced to do a lot of things that, when you're in a sketchbook, you can easily choose to draw something more fun. I mean, you can use a sketchbook like this too and just try to fill it up with hands if you're not good at hands, or all kinds of different things, heads, and I've done like challenges where for a whole month I've drawn environments purposefully. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it's pretty much the best way to level up, and I think it's really helpful. And I hope this helps you guys. And I'd love to see you guys work on your own comics. Animation's another big one, but comics, I feel, really gives you the opportunity to draw so many more things. Whereas animation, you'll get really good at figure drawing and perspective, especially. And it's just a different skill set, but I think that would be helpful too. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a really good thing, and it's a great way to level up all around with your illustration and art and all that stuff. So yeah. And one last thing before I go. First of all, you can find me and my comics and Corncob Rob and things like that at donkeydrawprojects.com/comics. If you want to get some ideas of, kind of the stuff I do and some examples of comics, there's some free stuff there. There's some stuff for a small price and stuff like that as well. So it's up to you. But one last tip, trying to become a comic artist or do a comic at whatever level you're at is always a tough thing to do. And the best way I've found to get better at doing a good job at making comics and staying motivated is by doing the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge that was started by Kevin Cross. And it's a challenge where you do your comic for at least 30 minutes a day for 100 days in a row consecutively. And there's a group, I'll put a link in the description for the Facebook group. But and then a lot of people make a video each day to kind of document their process, to keep accountable with friends and family and things like that. So and you can do it different ways. Like you just make a blog post or throw a video up on Instagram or however you want to do it. There's a lot of ways to do it, but probably the best way is to do a YouTube video, but you don't have to do that if you don't feel comfortable with that. But yeah, it's a great way to push yourself to work on your comic. And you also learn writing skills too if you're not working with a writer, so that's another cool thing. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will talk to you again on another video. Peace out.